they just sent a serious message. Newer, clearer details on what's ahead for New Jersey, what it means for New Jersey, major implications both ways. Let's talk about it. Welcome in to Devil's Digest. Feel free to click the subscribe button. A schedule is out, playoff schedule. Devils Hurricanes getting started in Raleigh Sunday, 3 p.m. Games 1 through 5 are out there. Or actually 1 through 4. Waiting on times for 5, 6, 7 because, we'll see how far this series goes. Game 1 tomorrow night, 3 p.m. in Raleigh. Look, when you look at Carolina and, where this series is being played, obviously Carolina likes home ice. They won 31 games there this year. They play pretty well there. They like playing matchups. They score more when they're at home. Now, when I look at playoff hockey and, you talk about, the fans, the momentum, and all that, home ice, when I look at that, I see a lot more into how you can play the matchups than so much of the, the fans and the atmosphere in your home arena. Yeah, does it play a part? Sure, it definitely does. But when you look at the type of matchups, getting that last line change, it's extremely important, especially for a team like Carolina. They play the matchup games. They like to get chances off of the type of players that they have up there against your team. That's what they like to do. I've said it before. Carolina cares a lot less about their actual personnel, and they care a lot more about being good in the numbers area. And that's where they're good at. They create a lot of chances. Now, this underlying numbers would show that they don't always score on those chances, as, not as successful as other teams are in scoring those type of chances. I've said it before. Personnel matters. Carolina, they moved off 2 of their top forwards. Their best player. Their arguable other best player. Maybe number 3. But you understand the point. That's how Carolina likes to play. So they love to play these matchup games. They like to get the stall line against your top line. They like to get the Aho and Jarvis line together. That's what they want to go do. And that's what they're going to, obviously for games 1 and 2 starting this series, they're going to be able to do that. So it's really important for the Devils to be able to kind of, counter that. Looking at the lines today, here they are. This was from practice. Devils leaving for Carolina later today. Actually, they might be on a plane right now. But these are the lines from this morning. Hischier, Bratt, Nason on the first line. Meier, Mercer, Haula. The 2 trade deadline acquisitions on the third line there with Palat. Look, when I look at this lineup and I go, obviously how good Bratt and Hischier and Meier have been down the stretch. You feel good with them. They've been able to score. They've been able to play a full game. They've been able to be the players that they were down the stretch. Obviously, that's why you went out and you paid these guys. Somewhere or someone who I look to be an X factor in this series, or the Devils, give themselves a much better chance if this guy's an X factor in this series. It's got to be Dawson Mercer. Look, you looked at this team, and I said it before this season started. When you looked at this team, and I've said it before, to win a Stanley Cup, you need an elite number 1, a number 2 who can be a number 1, a number 1 offensive defenseman, a goaltender that gets hot at the right time. You need those things to win a Stanley Cup. I mean, go ask Pittsburgh, go ask Tampa Bay, go ask Chicago, go ask those teams how they won their Stanley Cups. You need those things. Now, obviously, coming into the season, the Devils had that. They had Jack Hughes. They had Nico Hischier down the middle. They had an offensive defenseman in Dougie Hamilton. They just brought in their number 1 goaltender, gave up a good amount for him. They had those things. Jack Hughes goes down. Your, best center is in the Metropolitan Division. Now you're maybe not even towards the middle part of it. Or maybe that's where you are. So when I look at that and I look at the Devils having that advantage in the Metro, being, having the 2 best centers in the Metro, probably, the best 4 down the middle. When I look at that and they no longer have that, you need that player who's taking over for, I guess, Jack Hughes in a sense, to step up. I mean, we look at Dawson Mercer's season. 19 goals, 17 assists, 36 points. Clearly probably not what they wanted, especially, they're in the offseason arguing a contract, and, they didn't wind up paying him, for a ton of years. So when I look at that and I look at the situation that New Jersey's in and, not having Jack Hughes, being a little bit weaker down the center, maybe not having, the type of scoring power that they had, Dawson Mercer is an X factor in this series. Because you go to Carolina down the middle. They're not super strong down the middle either. They're going, obviously Aho, Stahl, Kakaniemi. I mean, they're not super, Rosovic. They're not super, talented down the middle. They're not super, blow you away, I should say. I shouldn't say talented. Obviously, they're talented. But blow you away. Like, there's not something, it's not something that jumps off the page. New Jersey jumped off the page. Obviously, they don't anymore, but it's not something that jumps off the page at you. So getting Dawson Mercer going in this series when, during the regular season, he really wasn't, and this team still found a way in the playoffs. If you can get him going, it gives you a much better chance. It's something you didn't have, and now they, hopefully have it. Like, they didn't have Jack Hughes. They had Jack Hughes beforehand. Obviously, they're a better scoring team. They lose Jack Hughes, not so much. Get Dawson Mercer going all of a sudden. Maybe not, the type of scoring team that Jack Hughes was, but definitely something. Something else that I wanted to go ahead take a look at. Obviously, in this series, over the summer, we brought in Jacob Markstrom. And you look at the goaltending in this series, that's where it's going to come down to a lot for the Devils. Devils, obviously, put a lot of, stuff into going out and getting Jacob Markstrom. He's had a pretty nice season. He had that little, stretch after he came back from injury where, he struggled a little bit. But like I said before, you got to go with your number 1 guy. I don't like going back and forth between goaltenders. Like, I know one night he starts, one night they start. I'm not a fan of that. It's a very mental position. They let Jacob Markstrom go back, find his game, and he's found it. The past 10 games of the regular season, he looked really good. He looked like he did back in December and January. That's where you feel good if you're New Jersey. They need Jacob Markstrom to be their best player in this series. Going over it, looking at Carolina, Frederik Andersen expected to get the start. Now, my feeling is, if I'm Carolina, I go Pyotr Kochekov. I think Pyotr Kochekov's younger. He moves better in the net. Little bit of a better goaltender. Andersen, little older now. He's been injured 3 of the past 3 seasons. Doesn't move as well in net anymore. He's a little bit slower. Maybe his reads aren't quite there, or maybe just, physically, he's been injured. Like I said, the past 3 seasons. So when I look at those things, if I was Carolina, I would definitely probably go to Kochekov. But right now, from what it looks like, it's Andersen. So when you look at type of things that, New Jersey has advantages in, I think they have the best player in this series in Jesper Bratt. I think they have clearly the better goaltending, going to power play. Just looking at it, New Jersey, 3rd in the NHL on the power play. Carolina, they're 25th. Teams like Buffalo are ahead of them. Power play, easily New Jersey. That's where I said your personnel matters. You can create a ton of chances, but if you can't score, you don't have the personnel to, capitalize on those chances. You see what happens. I mean, go look at Carolina the past few playoff series. New York Rangers outplayed the Rangers, lost that series. Florida outplayed Florida, got swept. You can create as many chances as you want. If you can't score, you don't have the personnel to score. That's what's going to happen. That's maybe why Carolina has great regular seasons. And then they get in the playoffs. Things are a little bit tighter. Goals matter a little bit more. Doesn't work out. Can't just play the probabilities. Devils, third-ranked power play. That power play obviously has to be big in this series, especially with Carolina having a number 1 penalty killing unit. New Jersey, number 2. New Jersey, only team in the NHL with a top 3 power play and penalty kill. Special teams usually are a big thing in the playoffs. They're going to have to be a big thing in this playoff series because, I've said it before. Carolina, they get a lot of chances. They don't give up a lot of chances. And with a Devils lineup who doesn't, have a Jack Hughes, you have to be able to capitalize on the chances you get. You have to find a way to do it. Going to the power play. I think I said it in an earlier video. They have to find a way to score around a power play per goal. A goal per game on the power play. They have to find a way to do that because you're not going to get a ton of chances. And when you get your chances, obviously, you want to capitalize. This is where, you went out and you paid your core for situations like this. When Jack Hughes isn't there, when you're going to get less chances, and you have to find a way to capitalize on the chances you get because Carolina doesn't give a ton. You have to rely on some of that talent. They're going to need Meier. They're going to need Hischier. They're going to need Bratt. They're obviously, like I said, X Factor Dawson Mercer. He'll be huge in this series. So that's what you're looking at in terms of New Jersey. I did a video earlier on the video of, the playoff series. I'll link it down below. Go ahead and check that out. But Dougie Hamilton coming back. Devils, Hurricanes getting started 3 p.m. on Sunday. Hopefully you guys hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Hurricanes, Devils, game 1, whole series. Let me know. I got Devils in 7 in total. So Devils in 7. Let me know what you guys think down below. Go ahead, comment, game, series, whatever you want, whatever feels cool. Go ahead, do that, and I'll see you guys really soon. All right, take care, guys.